presentations and business items for the betterment of Hope Mills. Commissioner Jerry Legg was with us at the early meeting at 5. They covered our comprehensive strategic plan update that was presented to us by Ashley Anderson, our consultant, and I would say that if you weren't here or didn't see that by live stream, that is of course live streamed, and you can watch that in its entirety as we begin that strategic plan process. The survey results is most interesting from the survey that was taken back in May, at the end of May as well. But Commissioner Legg is home resting, so I just wanted to make sure everyone knew that he was here earlier and then now he's at home. With that said, I'm going to call the meeting to order. Please rise for the invocation by Chaplain Tim Gore. Remain standing for our Pledge of Allegiance.
Heavenly Father, as we gather tonight to prepare to discuss the business before us, and as these commissioners and mayor and town leaders lead us into that discussion, the Lord also want to ask that you would touch the family of Gregory Williams, who has departed from us. And Lord, we know that whether it be a sudden death that impacts so many, or even a lingering illness, that the loss of someone that we love and that we care about is always devastating to us and very emotional. So we pray that you would give a special bit of grace and compassion to his co-workers, to the town officials, and to his family and everyone associated with him. And Lord, we just continue to pray for the proper guidance, direction, and your grace and mercy upon our community as we strive to do the very best we can for all of our citizens. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the agenda, or any additions or deletions?
Motion to approve.
Second? We have a motion to approve and a second. All in favor? Seeing none opposed, agenda is approved as presented. Official comments? Go ahead, Chancellor. Let's roll that 6-page manager's report out.
Thank you, Mayor. First page always begins with the community corner. Elevate Hope Mills Phase 2 registration started today. This is the financial empowerment series. It's a 3-day workshop that begins on September 9th. Each meeting will be from 6 to 8 at the John W. Hodges Public Safety Center. Day 1, you'll learn about creating a budget that actually works, tracking spending or guessing where the money went. Day 2, you'll learn about building multiple streams of income. Day 3, you'll learn things about protecting credit and identifying scams, insurance wheels, and legacy planning. And again, this is free of charge to any resident or business. You do not have to be a business owner to actually participate. The registration link is on the government Facebook page. Also, the September 11th tribute that we do out at the garden at the Public Safety Center will be held September 11th at 8:30 a.m. All Meal Days is back. It will be held on Saturday, October 25th, late 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. here at Hope Mills Municipal Park. Talks about the Walk with a Cop initiative last week with Hope Mills PD. Second page, Team Hope Mills gathered with the United Way last week to pack, and I quote, 70,000 meals in about 2 hours. We met with about 500 other individuals. We actually had 2 tables. We actually had enough people participating for staff and elected to form 2 teams. Hope Mills Police Department and Fire Department participated in the Back to School event at Seaway and Collier last week. This is our initiative to remain present in our schools. Today, we also on page 3, there's a tribute to our brother Gregory Williams Sr. Many of us attended his funeral services today, and I would say if this was my family, yeah, I would have been touched to see the mayor, town manager, public works director, police department, fire department. I mean, our presence was felt. And I definitely want to commend our public works director, Don Cisco, who, the level of care that he exudes with this man's family is something that I would want a family member of mine to have with his employer. But I do know the family was very appreciative of the presence of Hope Mills today because we do consider him to be our family. Page 4, new summer and fall events. As we transition through summer and the fall social for Parks and Rec, the crafting circle, there's a social shuffle coming forward. Fall cleanup events are moving forward as well. Registration actually began in July. Next page is Hope Mills Chamber of Commerce. There's a back to school event on August 30th. It's called a cookie class. Something pretty cool. And there's also a workshop for CPR certification class. And in conclusion, the final 2 pages will always remain NCDOT construction updates. And that does conclude the manager's report for this meeting.
Okay. Go ahead. Next item, board member comments. I'm going to start with Commissioner Marley.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to welcome everybody here tonight. The only thing I really have is the HPC met last Wednesday night, and I spoke with Ms. Reeves, and the HPC is wishing to move forward with the designation of the chapel, historic designation of the chapel. I will say that our town manager is aware of it, and Parks and Rec Director Marco is also aware of it, and they're working with the HPC to take care of that. I just wanted to let the board know, get the board update as the liaison. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Marley. Commissioner Sorolla.
Thank you, Mayor. It's good to see everyone here. I'm a little under the weather, but I'm going to struggle on and get through this meeting, so I'm not going to say much. That's all I got.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Commissioner Sorolla. Commissioner Craver.
I've sort of been out of the loop for the past week. My 95-year-old sister that we will celebrate her birthday on Tuesday fell, broke her hip. She's in ICU, and it's not looking good for her. And I have been able to go and pack the food the other day because I was called to the hospital to go stay with her. And the same thing this afternoon. But my thoughts and prayers have been with Gregory Williams Sr. And his family. Such a tragedy when a young man like this leaves us. So my prayers has been with his family. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Commissioner Craver. Mayor Pro Tem Dr. McCray.
Good to see everyone tonight as well, and I would just like to remind everybody about the Arts and Culture Survey for the mural that is proposed to go on the side of the Parks and Rec building that will be open to the end of the month. And just again, I'd like to give my condolences to the employees, friends, and family of Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Dr. McCray. Like the town manager said about the United Way Meal Pack, it's an annual event that's out at the Crown every year. So over 70,000 bags were packed up by our town's volunteers. I was proud to be with them. And I'll tell you, I would do that if I wasn't mayor of Hope Mills. Because that is a huge community project that benefits so many people. Over the past couple of weeks, there's been 2 new additions of leadership in Cumberland County. And I always talk about cooperation, collaboration, and partnerships. And it was an honor to be at 2 swearing-ins. As all of you know, we have a new Cumberland County Schools Superintendent, Dr. Eric Bracy. His swearing in was a week or so ago. It was down on Gillespie Street, and let me tell you, it was completely full of people there to welcome the new superintendent to Cumberland County Schools from Johnston County. I'll be meeting with him September 5th, as he has reached out to all the community stakeholders for a meeting and to share what his vision is. Also, we also have a new sheriff. In case anybody doesn't know, we have a new sheriff, and I attended his swearing in as well. Commissioner Mr. Wold was there. And believe it or not, sometimes it takes a swearing in to get the three big mayors there, but big shout out to Mayor Kia Anthony from Spring Lake, Mayor Mitch Coven from Fayetteville. We were all there for the swearing in of Sheriff Jonathan Morgan. And that's a new partnership, and we've scheduled a meeting as well for his vision and how he can be beneficial to the local community. And I think it's really great that these two new leaders are coming in, and they're the ones that are asking to meet with the senior leadership of the county. That is really, really good, and I wanted to share that. Also on Saturday was a huge event in honor of the United States Army 250th birthday. Down at ASOM, a proclamation was rendered by General Anderson and Command Sergeant Major Parker, and I have it here, to each municipality of our true partnership and cooperation to community. As many of you know, many military members, active duty, reside in our municipalities, all 9 of them in Cumberland County. And the one good thing, and I know I've been on deployments along with Commissioner Squalla, the one thing that when you're deployed, if you're a family member, you're deployed downrange, you want to make sure that your families are safe while you're downrange on a deployment. That was probably the common theme of the presentation on Saturday. And I was really honored to accept this big proclamation on behalf of the town of Pope Mills. Again, collaboration and partnerships. It means so much to all the stakeholders in the county when we all can work together as we do. Lastly, I have to collect myself a minute. I think I'm going to do it this way. The musical selection for Gregory Williams today was Come Jesus Come. And if anyone of faith, like myself, that song, Come Jesus Come, may today be the day. August 11th was that day for Gregory Williams. I want to share a story. I shared it today with the family, and I want to share it with the public too. I saw him that morning. I was on my way to FTCC, like I usually do in the morning. I got to the strip, as I call it, down at Walgreens and McDonald's. And here stood Gregory Williams with a bucket and a trash picker. And he was collecting trash on that strip. Now, prior to him going there, if you've been through that strip, it was completely filled with trash, weeds. It's not that way now because of his touch. So, I saw him there. Cars continued to ride by. I stopped in the middle of that intersection. I did. I fully stopped to thank him for the job that he is doing. He didn't know I was mayor. I did it because I wanted to thank him for doing that job. And he said to me, because he's a humble man, many thanks, sir. I did not, and I went on to FTCC. He continued on. And neither one of us knew today was his day. Neither one of us knew that. Until I got a call later on that he had passed. And it touched me, it still does. I just saw him, and Chancellor will tell you, I just saw him this morning on that strip. It was amazing. It really was. It was amazing to see him that morning, but knowing later on that today was his day. Bear with me a minute. In his honor, I want to read the reflection of his life. He's our town employee. He's been with us for a number of years. He worked in Parks and Rec. He moved over to Public Works. He's family. He's family to the town. He's family to our community. Gregory L. Williams was born on November the 30th, 1970, to Verna B. Williams and Wilbur T. Williams. He was called home to be with the Lord on August 11th, 2025. Gregory attended Cumberland County Schools and graduated from Douglas Byrd High School. Go Eagles. While in school, Gregory participated in many spirits such as football, baseball, and basketball. Out of all these activities, Gregory loved fishing the most. And on the cover of his program, which is this one, you'll see a fishing rod right there. That's a testament. Well, I got that in common with you, because I love fishing too. I love to eat fish. All right, during his adult life, Gregory was employed with the following companies: Big Lots, Jonathan's, Burlington Industries, and most recently, the town of Hope Mills. Gregory has to cherish his memories. His parents, Verna B. Williams and Wilbert Williams, his brother Joshua Williams, 2 children, Nicole Williams and Gregory Williams Jr., 3 grandchildren, a host of aunts, uncles, relatives, and friends. So I just wanted to take a minute and read an obituary about a family member that passed last week, and we said goodbye to today in a room that was completely full of people all the way to the back door. It was really, really, it was an honor, and I was humbled to be there with all the town employees, his family, and his friends. I'm going to move on to item 3, presentation, National Day of Service and Remembrance Proclamation. I'll try to read it. I think I can. National Day of Service and Remembrance Proclamation. Whereas on September 11, 2001, the lives of nearly 3,000 men, women, and children were lost in the worst terrorist attack on United States soil in our nation's history. And whereas in the darkest hour, the American people, including firefighters, police officers, emergency medical technicians, physicians, nurses, military personnel, and other first responders responded to this violence with heroic acts of kindness, generosity, and compassion. And whereas in the months following the attacks, people across the United States volunteered to help support the rescue and recovery efforts, continuing to heal to the healing as a nation. And whereas there are many types of volunteerism that contribute to the betterment of our communities, including donation of time, funds, labor, and talents to a worthy cause, youth mentorship, supporting services for people with intellectual and developmental and other disabilities, peer counseling, participating in programs that care for our older adults, blood donation, advocating and providing for our veterans, working with animal shelters, disaster relief, and countless other humanitarian acts. And whereas the United States Congress enacted the Edward M. Kennedy Serve America Act on April 21st, 2009, requesting the observance of September 11th as a National Day of Service and Remembrance. And whereas serving as a 9/11 volunteer provides a chance to help others in tribute to those who were killed or injured on September 11, 2001, to honor our first responders and the countless others who served to defend the nation's freedom at home and around the globe. And whereas the town of Hope Mills encourages people to observe September 11th by volunteering time and labor in service to our neighbors, communities, fellow Americans, now therefore I, Jesse Bellflowers, Mayor of the town of Hope Mills, and the Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim September 11th, 2025 as a National Day of Service and Remembrance in the town of Hope Mills, and commend its observance to all residents. Now, some of you may wonder why I'm reading this tonight. It's because our next board meeting is September 15th. This is the main reason I'm reading the proclamation tonight, to read it into the record before our next board meeting. And of course, we have a ceremony here on September 11th at the town. We'll move on to the next item, which is item B under 3, Hope Mills Area Land Use Plan Presentation. There are no attachments. Chancellor, you want to lead it off?
This is something that, it's a long time coming. I won't steal too much of the thunder from Emily Wireman and Sarah Grace. Sarah Grace is from the Cumberland County Planning Department. She'll tell you exactly what this is.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners. My name is Sarah Grace Mitchell, and I am a Planner 3 with Cumberland County Planning Inspections in the Comprehensive Planning section. I'm pleased to announce that we have begun the process of updating the land use plan for this area, that being the Hope Mills Area Land Use Plan. So a little bit about land use planning. Land use planning is a long-range planning tool used by the town and county officials as a reference for future land use decisions. It is a thorough document which includes existing conditions, goals, objectives, and policy recommendations, which are all useful for 1, understanding the existing area, 2, shaping long-term development, and 3, providing resources and guidance to make community goals a reality. In other words, the best way to put a land use plan is that it is a living, actionable document that allows us to make recommendations on rezoning cases and the vision that we want to see for the area. Formerly, the land use plan was the Southwest Cumberland Plan area. Due to the growing size, we have decided to rename the plan as the Hope Mills Area Land Use Plan. It's located in the southwest portion of the county, and it's bordered by the city of Fayetteville, Hope County, and Robeson County. It kind of goes a little bit over 95, but along 95 and 301 as well. There's approximately 25,400 acres in this plan area, and roughly over 23,000 individual tax parcels. It's a lot. Unfortunately, I made ITS at Cumberland County kind of roll their eyes at me when I asked them to fix the Excel sheet. We have a community kickoff meeting coming up. It'll take place on Tuesday, October 28, 2025 at the Hope Mills Parks and Recreation Center. This event will take place from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. and the meeting is designed to gather public input from community members and share ideas on how best to shape the plan area. Property owners will receive a postcard with the meeting details within 20 weeks of meeting day. Now, one thing about these postcards, they will be sent to property owners. There are a lot of growing areas in the area, apartment complexes. It's really important that we share this information with people who don't own property, but live here, they shop here, they work here. We definitely need to make sure that we're getting the information out so that they can bring their ideas to the table. And in closing, we're looking forward to collaborating with the town of Hope Mills throughout this process. And I really appreciate the opportunity, even if it was just an announcement, to be able to put names to faces and introduce myself, make things a little bit more familiar, And if anyone has any questions, Mr. McLaughlin can answer them, and I can also leave behind some business cards. Reach out to us if you have any other questions. And the postcard will also include a website with a value survey, and we'll also distribute that out as well, and encourage as many people to fill that out, and as much public input as we can, the better the plan will be.
Other than postcards going out, what other ways are you gonna advertise, this public input?
Being involved with meetings, I believe my supervisor, Trey Smith, and I have talked about staff engaging with the chamber. We have talked about setting up tables, maybe outside of grocery stores or highly trafficked areas. We have also talked about doing a full push on social media, so utilizing the public information office with Cumberland County, as well as utilizing the town of Hope Mills social media pages.
Would you be available to come to one of our, or several of our Chamber of Commerce events and bring the postcards with you
Absolutely.
and hand them out to our business owners?
Yes, sir.
Their feedback is highly valuable.
Right. And when we say postcards, like the limit does not stop at postcards. We'll do flyers. Of course, we'll be at the community center. We are in the process of adopting the Northeast Cumberland Land Use Plan, which is Godwin, Falcon, and Wade. That goes to our joint planning board tomorrow night. The last few plans have only been a kickoff meeting of 3 hours, but due to the growing capacity of the town, we've decided that going from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. will best suit everyone's changing schedules and allow everyone to participate.
What is the estimated time period for this plan?
The county administration advises that we complete and begin one land use plan per fiscal year.
So with that said, ours is next.
Yours has begun.
Yes.
It has officially begun. The Northeast Cumberland Land Use Plan, like I said, is in the works of being adopted. It goes to the Joint Planning Board tomorrow night, and then it'll roll on to the respective towns and the Board of County Commissioners. So our office is fully dedicating our time to the Hope Mills Area Land Use Plan.
Sounds great.
Absolutely.
Any other comments from the board?
One thing, Mayor, I want to add is this is the answer to the question that has been asked for about a better part of a year. How are we going to control the growth? This is the answer. This is not a one meeting solution. This is probably going to go on for the next several months. Like she said, we have to wrap it up by June of next year. And so this is not something where the kickoff in October is the first public engagement. We're going to have a series of them. And one thing that we've talked about and we've made very clear, this is not possible to do this without engagement of the people. But we need the feedback. And we want people to know this is the process. Now, we knew we were talking about it several months ago, but we're not ready to actually announce it. But this is the answer. How do you control the future growth of the town? We talked about how outdated the Southwest Land Use Plan was, but to commend the Cumberland County Department and for them helping to rebrand it, rename it. If you look at its own logo, I think you said you'll have its own dedicated website.
Yes, the website is being drafted as we speak, but whenever the postcards go out, the postcards, the website, and the value survey will be sent to the public, so the moment you get the postcard in the mail, you'll be able to take the survey. You'll be able to look at the website. And we try our best to update the website as we do the work through the process.
So that's where we'll funnel everything to for updates and things of that nature, but we definitely want people to understand, we've heard you. This is the beginning of the process of controlling the future growth. We just had the strategic planning update. So there's some things that we're doing now to directly address those things, but we can't do it alone. We have to actually, it's impossible to complete this plan without the input of the community. So We're gonna actually have the same presentation at the next Economic Development Committee meeting, on August 27th. And so we're forming steering committees, things of that nature. I'll be contacting key residents to actually join us on that steering committee. And so we want as much involvement from the community as possible, but I definitely want to commend Cumberland County staff for, because this time last year, we were told we were looking at the end of 2026. And then they called, and Emily and I started dancing in the hallways, because it was fast tracked to now. And so we're ready to move forward, and we're ready to do this together.
It's key, Chancellor, that you bring that up, because you look at the timing piece, this could not come at a better opportunity than where we're at right now in the town. We've been engaged in the comprehensive strategic plan, which we had an update tonight. That will wrap up at probably about the end of September. And that will have a finished working document that will be available to take that input and apply it in to the Hope Mills land use plan, along with the input from the public and our local businesses from the community. This is really set up in a very, very strategic way of growth, of how to manage smart growth in our community. Because a lot of folks are saying this, and we heard about it on the surveys, and a lot of people are talking about growth. How to find and keep that balance of smart growth with the small town character, which is the backbone of Hope Mills. So one document's not going to do it alone. It's going to take input from everybody, all 18,000 citizens, hopefully, and businesses, to look at where are we now, do we want to go? Then we're looking at the growth of I-295 and exit 41, getting ready to populate at the same time. You couldn't ask for a better set of long-range plans, vision, in our comprehensive strategic plan and the Hope Mills land use plan. So I thank you very much, and I'm sure that you'll be at more meetings, and I'll see you at more opportunities, especially Chamber of Commerce.
Absolutely.
Anything else from the board? If not, we thank you.
Thank you again for the opportunity.
Cards. We always want cards. Cards. We always want cards. You go share that with the chamber. Yeah. In a special place. Okay, we move on to item 3C, appearance commission presentation. No attachments. Who's got? Oh, come forward. You can.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners, Town of Hope Mills. My name is Marie Callender, and this is Evelyn Barnes. I'm the co-chair of the Hope Mills Appearance Commission. Evelyn is a member. We are here to present the Hope Mills E-Box Art Project. And what that is a public art initiative designed to enhance our community's aesthetics through the creation of murals on electrical boxes throughout the town. This concept originated about 2 years ago in an effort to improve the visual appeal of the electrical box at the Hope Mills Lake. I thought that it was an eyesore, and I kept trying to figure out a way to cover it. We couldn't put plants because there's electric there, so I kept figuring out a way. So I started doing research, and my research came up with similar murals projects have been successfully implemented in communities in Statesville, North Carolina, California, and right next door, Cool Springs. They painted murals there, I think last year, I think it was. So with that, I said, oh, okay, so this is a thing. I can do this. So I made some phone calls and I talked to some people, and it says, yes, this is possible. And the Appearance Commission got to work and started working on it. So what we would like is to collaborate, if possible, with Parks and Recs and Culture Arts to get the project done. Of course, with the Appearance Commission overseeing and implementing the initiative. So we are asking, we respectfully request the town's approval for the Appearance Commission to move forward with this initiative and get it started. I also have an artist, I've been spoken to an artist, have an artist on board, and he has a team that he has on board as well. And we're also going to be meeting with the artists along with the Parks and Rec next week. So we got steps and we're in place and we're moving forward. We just need your approval. Thank you.
Just real quick, I'm gonna flip through the
And,
slides.
we have pictures of some of the artwork that are on these electrical boxes.
Are we only gonna do electrical boxes?
Now, if it can turn into something bigger, hey, let's go.
How many electrical boxes are there?
That's being researched as we speak. Now, I drove around the town and myself, I counted, I think 9 that I knew about. But they are various, the electrical boxes are very, very inside also.
And all of that is actually painted on and not.
No, that's painted. Yes, that's painted.
I love them, I really did.
That's painted.
And they'll all be a different one.
It's, yes.
Everything different. Wonder if we could do that with our cable bill, cable bill boxes or,
Probably.
television boxes.
Oh, yeah, we wanted to put, at the lake, we was, wanted to put pictures of the lake. Well, we'll do, a survey and figure out what's best, because that box has just, it's been on my nerves for, I don't know, about 3 years. And so we're working to get it taken care of. We want to put a really good representation of the town on that particular box, because this is right there in the middle, and it's the first thing you see when you come into town.
How expensive is that?
We have had a quote for per panel, but it has not been voted on or determined, and that quote was $550 per panel. However, we're meeting with the artist next week, and we're going to inform him that all the panels they vary in size. So they all wouldn't be the same price. I don't know if he knew that, but they vary in size, because I've seen some small ones, some this size, and so that has not been completely determined yet, but he did start with $550 per pound.
I think they're pretty.
Marie, this would be funded out of the commission's funding for the year.
We have we're applying for grants as well as our budget, and we are hoping to work with, of course, the Parks and Rec and maybe Cultural Arts to assist us with funding as well.
I would also ask, on behalf of the Hope Mills Chamber, if you were to come to one of the Hope Mills Chamber meetings and present this plan, there may be some funding opportunities for our local businesses.
Okay.
I really would. I mean, this is a community project.
Yes, it is definitely
It is.
a community project, yes.
Yeah, this is community. Are any of these boxes, and I haven't noticed boxes, are any of them located around our schools? Because those crayons would look really cool around one of the elementary schools. And you could probably paint the school name on it, like where Houston is, Rockfish Elementary would go there.
That's why I said it's gonna turn into a really big project. It's okay by me, but it started with this little thing at the lake, so my eyes sore. But, we can make it do what it do.
Any other questions from the board?
I just like, you know, you mentioned it to me, and I would love to support you all. I think it's really, really nice because the struggle with, the arts and culture is finding locations for murals. And then the spaces that we usually find are really expensive, but things like this is a way to actually put murals in your community, and it's not as expensive, so.
Exactly.
Really, really like it.
Okay, do we have a motion?
What,
Go ahead.
I was gonna ask what you just said, so all you're asking for is a motion to move forward with the project?
Yes, we want to know if we can move forward with the project throughout the town, you know, and whatever else that can go along with it, or whatever you decide you want to add to it.
What does the motion need to say? I mean, I'll make the motion.
Well, right now, we're asking
What
just
do we need?
so we can get started with the middle.
Just
Yeah.
initiate.
The initiative,
Initiate the,
initiative, yeah.
project.
Because the thing is, they have within their budget, they're doing grants and things of that nature. I think they're just asking for approval to move forward with the initiative.
Well, I'll put that in form of a motion.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor? Seeing none opposed? Marie, congratulations, you have it. Go forward and do good.
Thank you.
Next item up. We've got a team that went down to Louisiana. And we're gonna recognize them tonight. We recognized them earlier during the week. We're here tonight again to recognize them. That's under item D, Dixie softball recognition. Marco, you got this one?
I don't want to steal their thunder. Well, first of all, good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. As you all know, last Wednesday, we did a banquet for the 10 New Angels, where we recognized them. So tonight we want to do that publicly so that everybody knows how great they are. But I'm not going to stand and talk. I have staff, I have Coach Mo, and some representatives from Dixie Youth Softball that's going to make some presentations. So I hand it over to Crystal Willoughby and the rest of the staff.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Krista Willoughby. I'm the athletics coordinator. This is our brand new athletic supervisor, Justin Malden. And this is Coach Mo. He does a lot for us. We did want to recognize the girls. We had a banquet for on Wednesday. They're a little bit, they always do. They get pizza and hang out. Besides that, a lot of them are not able to be here tonight because they have travel ball, break ball, they're staying active. But they were presented some certificates and a lot of town appreciation. Also, our next spot is Miss Paige, well, Winter, we call her Paige. She has been a scorekeeper for us for years. She's played for us in Dixie softball. And she was one of the 2 Dixie softball scholarship recipients. We wanted to recognize that tonight. She's not able to be here because she's back in school, playing college softball at Catawba. So we wanted to recognize her, but her mom is here, Miss Renee, if she'd like to come grab her plaque, her award.
Could you go ahead and read what's on the plaque?
Douglas E. Garrett Scholarship 2025, presented to winner Paige Ford in memory of Frank L. Baxter. Sorry, I'm not going to form, I'm still learning this stuff. And so the next thing is kind of a surprise. Back in April, I received a message from our state director of Dixie softball for a nomination. So I want to read this nomination and then present that award. To the Dixie Softball Hall of Fame Committee, it is with great pride and heartfelt respect that I nominate Maxie Duff for induction induction into the Dixie Softball Hall of Fame. Maxie's lasting contributions to Dixie Softball, particularly District 6 and the Hope Mills community, have laid a foundation that continues to shape and inspire young athletes to this day. Maxie began his journey in 2006 when he recognized a deep need for a girls' quality softball program in a largely dominated baseball area. Where others saw imbalance, Maxie saw opportunity. He took it upon himself to build a recreational program from the ground up. In 2007, nearly 20 years ago, Hope Mills Parks and Recreation joined Dixie Softball, winning multiple district, state, and World Series championships. What started as a simple idea grew into a thriving, competitive, and welcoming space for young girls to develop their skills and fall in love with the game. I'm going to stop there just to insert that. We have the largest softball program in, definitely in our district. A lot of them I've talked to some of the others. They're kind of dying off, falling off, where we're continuing to grow. Last year we started fall softball. This year we have for our own league in fall softball. So it's a lot of growth. So just keep that in mind. As the former league president for District 6, now the deputy director of Hope Mills Parks and Recreation, Maxie didn't just lead, he built. From organizing teams and developing coaches to ensuring fields were maintained and games were fair, he was hands-on in every aspect. He even umpired back in the day. He is the first to arrive and the last to leave, always putting the kids first. He worked tirelessly to provide the same exposure and opportunities for the girls in Hope Mills that boys have always enjoyed, making sure every player feels seen, valued, and empowered. He truly prides himself on seeing the return of players bringing not only their girls to play Dixie softball, but also want to coach and continue to grow and succeed with the program. Because of his dedication, the Dixie softball program in Hope Mills has not only endured, it has flourished. The league continues to grow year after year, housing the most teams in the district, a living legacy of Maxie's visions and determination. Maxie Dove exemplifies everything that Dixie Softball Hall of Fame recipients: leadership, service, passion for youth sports, and a commitment to equality and excellence. His decades of hard work have impacted not just the league, but generations. It is my honor to submit this nomination and celebrate a man whose influence will be felt for many years to come. So with that being said, Mr. Maxie Dove, our Deputy Director, I would like to come up here, please, with your big eyes. I told you I was going to do this.
Come on, Maxie.
I'm definitely gonna get you. Surprise. I will say, when I got here, baseball success speaks for itself. We did not have anything that our girls had the opportunity to play for, so we did our research, looked at some other programs, give them the same opportunities. We found Dixie Softball. They were in an umbrella with Dixie Baseball, Dixie Boys Baseball. They've since split. Some other things are going on. But with that being said, we have 2 baseball World Series champions now, and we also had 2 softball World Series champions now. So, phenomenal coaches, phenomenal talent. We just do the administrative work. So, wow, surprised.
Thank you. Maxie. Maxie.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your dedication, your commitment.
Thank you.
From the heart in the development of our youth over all these years in Hope Mills.
Thank you.
So in 2009, I arrived. I had a small little flag football team that progressed over the years into tackle and wrestling. He gave me the opportunity to work with Coach Dickerson in wrestling. And every year, 90% of our populace in the wrestling room would just go away in the last 10 days of our wrestling season because baseball would open up and softball would open up. So I would throw my tirade and Maxie would like, just calm down, relax, you'll be okay. finally, year 3, he walked me outside of the wrestling room, as I'm very upset to only have a wrestling room of, you know, from 44 or roundabouts 50 to now like 10. When we walk outside, he says, "Look over there in the stands." And I says, "Well, what's going on?" He says, "Look at them scouts. You had 2 D1, University of Tennessee, and a UNC baseball scout sitting in the stands." And it dawned upon me that something that started off as a simple little nucleus, or whatever you want to call it, an embryo, turned into a whole big chicken, for lack of better words. And he mentored me along the way to understand that. I made an attempt to try to coach baseball at this 7A level and failed miserably, but this program has gone for, I think when I arrived, it was like 38 teams, now it's 55 just in baseball alone, it's not including softball. So it's a testament to what hard work will do, and dedication and perseverance. So thank you.
All right. Moving on to public hearing. It's item 4, case A 2025-008, beginning at the existing rebar located in the northern margin of SR 1003 Camden Road, said Camden Road having a variable width public right-of-way, said existing rebar being the southwest corner of Track 1, as shown on plat entitled Survey for James Sessions and Belinda Lee Sessions Ross, as recorded in Plat Book 73, page 84 of the Cumberland County, North Carolina Registry. This is a non-contiguous annexation. It's under tab 3. Emily, you got it?
Yes. So we were contacted by the applicant and they requested to delay this public hearing until the first meeting in October. I believe that's October 6th. So as I understand it, you need to open the floor for the public hearing and then is it tabled?
You recess it to date specific, which is the first hearing in October.
I can recess before public hearing, right?
You're opening the public hearing to recess it. What that does is it prevents us from having to actually re-advertise it. This is coming from our time.
Okay, do I have a motion to open the public hearing? Second? All in favor? Seeing none opposed, public hearing is now open. Now, do I need a motion to recess to October 6th?
That's correct.
Right? Okay, second? All in favor? Okay, this case will be recessed until October 6th.
And I will plan to do a presentation on October 6th.
October 6th, 2025. Okay, next. Under B is case A 2025-009, lying in Rockfish Township, Cumberland County, near Hope Mills, North Carolina, bounded on the north and east of property conveyed to SRW Builders LLC, as described and recorded in Plat Book 74, page 61, Cumberland County Registry, of which this is part bounded on the east, also by property conveyed to Isa Things Life Estate, as described and recorded in deed book 1155, page 143, Cumberland County Registry, bound on the south of the north right-of-way margin of Rockfish Road, SR 1112, and bounded on the west by property conveyed in HCC Investments LLC, out parcel 4, as described and recorded in Plat Book 141, page 78, Cumberland County Registry. This is a continuous annexation under tab 4. Xavier, you got it?
Yes, sir.
She let you have one. Good.
Good evening. So today I will be presenting annexation A 2025-009. So the town of Hope Mills voted to accept the petition for a continuous annexation on July 7, 2025, submitted by Lori Epler on behalf of Palmer Williams, Sycamore Corner LLC, SRW Builders LLC, and Williams Timber LLC. It's tied to PIN numbers 949487, 0736, 949487, 2795, 94948757114, 94948787884, and 94949804667, which will be a portion of that parcel. The property is 14.97 acres. The adjacent properties to the subject property is on mixed use with conditional zoning, residential, and across the street is on C2 plan service and retail. Access to the property will most likely come from Rockfish Road. The Board of Commissioners approved Resolution R 2025-020 on August 4th, 2025, fixing the public hearing to today's meeting, August 18th, 2025. Staff is requesting authorization to proceed with initially zoning the property under the C2P plan service and retail district. So here we have a sketch map showing the subject property, and as you can see, it's next to Trademore Village. At the rear, you have Williams and Trademore subdivision that's located in the county, as well as Stony Point subdivision located in the county, and Cross Point Church that is located within the town limits. And across the street, we have Dollar General, Food Line, and other commercial properties. Unless you have any questions, I will request this short be open public hearing.
We have a motion. We have a second to open the public hearing. All in favor? Is none opposed, public hearing is open. Is there anyone here that opposes case A 2025-009? Is there anyone here that opposes case A 2025-009? Seeing none? Is there anyone here that supports case A 2025-009? Is there anyone here that supports case A 2025-009? Seeing none, I have a motion to close the public hearing. Second?
Second.
All in favor? Public hearing is now closed. Do we have an action?
I'll make a motion to approve annexation A 2025-009 and authorize staff to begin the initial zoning process to designate the property as C2P plan service and retail district.
Second? We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor? Seeing none opposed, motion carries. Next item is item C. ZNG-012-24 text amendment to the Town of Hope Mills zoning ordinance to update and amend various sections throughout as needed, and it is under tab 5. You bringing it up? Or no? Okay. Oh, sorry. I just didn't look. Go ahead.
This case is labeled ZNG-012-24. We began this journey late last year, where we went over different suggestions for changes throughout the ordinance, and I was given permission to move forward with doing the changes. It has gone before the planning board, and they unanimously voted approval for the changes. Basically, the document is probably 200 pages long, so this is just a summary. Why are the amendments and updates to the zoning ordinance needed? As trends change throughout the urban and suburban areas, the zoning regulations that govern them can become outdated. Amendments to ordinances allow municipalities to account for changing conditions and to also ensure that they continue to serve the needs of the community, from regulating development-related issues to addressing parking needs for businesses. More flexible zoning regulations can also positively impact property values. Over the past 5 years, Hope Mills has experienced significant growth that continues to advance as development spans from single and multifamily residential to commercial and industrial projects. It is increasingly important to ensure our zoning regulations adequately address new types of construction and development projects. Summary of updates include incorporated, updated, and new sections into the zoning ordinance, such as the recently approved historic overlay district section, the updated section on the overlay districts involving motor vehicles, sales, and smoke shops, the food truck ordinance with updates, adding the new sign ordinance, as well as updates to the political signs and the removal of exhibits. The section on landscaping was doubled as mentioned last year, as well as changes to swimming pools to match the requirements in our stormwater ordinance and more. Updates were made in reference to fees as mentioned last year, where fees can be doubled for permits where work has begun on projects before obtaining the required zoning permits. All throughout the ordinance, mentions of approval through the chief building inspector has been changed to planning director, as well as the removal of going through the county. And that's more or less it. I didn't know if you want me to kind of mention the big change for political signs, but I brought that information with me. We changed the ordinance to match the general statute. So the general statute states that no sign shall be larger than 864 square inches, which equals to 6 square feet, whereas I believe our current ordinance says something like 32 square feet. So that's a big difference.
Okay, so I understand. So the political sign change is a part of
Yes.
tonight's approval.
Yes, it's catching it up to match the current general statute.
And upon approval, that piece will go out to the candidates that filed for
Correct.
general election.
If you approve tonight, I have your political services to give to you in hand, and the rest that are not present tonight will get emails to them. And I will be sending an email out as well.
Okay. All right.
Motion to approve, Hank.
Second? Okay. All in favor? Seeing none opposed, public hearing is now open. Anyone here in favor of ZNG-012-24? Anyone here in favor of ZNG-012-24? Seeing none? Is there anyone here that wants to oppose ZNG-012-24? Is there anyone here who wants to oppose ZNG-012-24? Seeing none? We have a motion to close, second? All in favor? Public hearing is now closed. Board comments. Before we call for action, are there any questions or comments from the board? Okay.
Please explain to me, it says on there, all throughout the ordinance, mention of approval through the chief building inspector has been changed to the planning director, as well as the removal of going through the county. Are we not gonna be using the county anymore?
Right now, and from here on out, we utilize the county for the joint planning board, but before this ordinance was written with the mention of every plan going through the county. So, I process any plans that come in through us that's in the town limits. So any site plan that comes in, I process it, I send out the request for comments, and, verify, make sure it meets fire codes, for example. And whereas at the time that the ordinance was last written, it was written with the intention of all of those steps being done through the county. So they would have applied through the county would have done all of those steps, and then just brought it to us and said, hey, it's good.
Through the county planning board,
Yes.
Department.
Correct.
Not the board.
Yes.
But it's still good for those that need 2 readings, it'll still go for the first
Yeah.
one with the county.
Any changes to the zoning ordinance or the zoning map, for example, the annexation that was just approved is gonna go through the initial zoning process. I will have to take it before the planning board, just like I took the zoning ordinance before the planning board for approval as well.
Mr. Gregory, it's actually removed in county planning department,
Yeah, okay.
not the joint planning board.
Already been away from the joint.
I'll add as well, nothing about our processes is changing at all. This is something that we have been dealing with because the ordinance was still listing that you submit the zoning permits to the chief building inspector, things of that nature. So that's one thing I want to commend our planning staff on. This is another major step forward. This is a major rewrite of our zoning ordinance. And it is cleaning up a lot of old language. The one thing I don't want people to overlook is the landscaping requirements. So what's gonna happen is when you see these new commercial developments to prove, you're gonna see an intensive increase in the number of landscaping that's required. And so this is something that's a long time coming as well. And this is something that'll help with the beautification of the town hall mills.
Thank you, Chancellor.
And my plan is to have, if we approve it, to have the rough draft, if you will, that you're voting on tonight on the website available. It's already on there under the public hearing listings, but I'll put it on the zoning and planning page until I can get the final draft with the correct changes corrected on it, because right now it's, red and crossed out.
Yeah, Chancellor, that was a key part that you brought up about landscaping. I'm definitely one that does, I do not like clear cutting. People that know me well. I do not like clear cutting, and a lot of times you have to clear cut to build, but if you do that, then you bring back the correct landscaping footprint for the aesthetics. And I don't think that's too much to ask at all. So I'm glad to see that we're strengthening that piece of the ordinance. Okay. All in favor? Oh, wait a minute, we have a motion first. Need a motion first.
I'd like to make a motion to approve case BG 01224 to approve the text amendments to the Hope Mills zoning ordinance. Don't have to read the whole ordinance. Yes.
Motion to second. All in favor? Seeing none opposed, the text amendment is approved. Okay. Next item is public comments under item 5, Coach Mode, the only one signed up. Yeah. Coach, you got 3 minutes. I'm looking over to see if anybody. Coach, you can just wait a minute till, Commissioner Cole returns.
Is everybody doing? Because my windows are. Yeah, it's raining. It is?
Okay, Coach. Spike the ball. You have 3 minutes.
You brought the rain with the chancellor. You should have wore at least some kind of way today. Good evening. So, typically when somebody steps up here, they're complaining about something or they want y'all to change stuff, but let's keep it positive today. There was a survey done. People, those who took the survey, even though it wasn't a large populace of the township, did speak, and they spoke about a lot of stuff that's really, really important. EMS services, crime is down. Thank you to Chief Bellamy for that. Fire department's response times are better. That's great on Chief Kane's part. But they're really calling for a lot of community events, senior events. Unfortunately, some of the seniors don't want to see the kids, and the kids don't want to see the seniors. But you know what? With Parks and Rec building another building, we can give everybody what they want. And we've got a beautiful 94-acre piece of property that we can consume about 20-something acres and still have a beautiful green space in the amount of probably about another 68 acres worth. And I'm going to refer to that place as a walking trail because it has not been used as a golf course for a very long time. But I would say one thing, that probably the most wealthiest person in this room is the youngest person in this room because they have the most time ahead of God willing, right? But right next door, we have 4-year-olds through 14-year-olds that participate in a lot of events. And then we have some 40-year-olds to 80-year-olds that come, they enjoy some flights, they do whatever they choose to sign up for. But there's a lot of events that still has more room to grow, and we are at max capacity. I just tried to organize a coaches committee meeting for the end of this month, and every room is booked throughout for the next almost 90 days. Luckily, Krista found me a room earlier today, and we're going to collaborate and put our heads together and see how can we start filling these seats with either parents or coaches that share the same vision as myself and the majority of the community. A lot of people don't, they were objected to the 4-year terms, but it's like, I have to admit that as citizens, we can be sometimes lazy. And when you notice a spike in the election, numbers in the elections, it's typically around the presidential election year. And outside of that, it's not. A lot of our people that vote in Hope Mills, they just don't come out, or the younger, the youth don't come out because they're preoccupied with sports stuff. You know, and because of lack of space, a lot of these parents that have 3 or 4 kids in the programs, they're spread thin. So they just don't know, or they don't pay attention. By the time they get home, they're tired. So if we created some more space for the bigger stadium, as people are asking for, we can have more events. And these families can be a little bit relieved of being torn into 3 different directions, you know? And all in all, it's bring better morale to the township. So hopefully you guys get that passed.
Thank you, Coach Mo. Everyone. Next item, we're under item 6, consent agenda, A, B, C, and D. Do we have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve items A, B, C, and D on the consent agenda.
We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor? Seeing none opposed, the consent agenda is approved as presented. That's the end of the consent agenda. Item 7, old business, there are none. Drew's turn. Item 8, new business. Item A, consideration and approval of budget amendment number 37 in the amount of $1,364,700 under tab 10. All right, Drew.
Don't let that amount scare you. This is the requirement, a new requirement that we started last year, called GASB 87. What we had to start doing, last year and every year going forward, any lease that the town has, that's material, has to be booked as debt. We don't budget for it as debt, but at the end of the year, when we do the audit, everything out, we have to transfer it from an expense lease to debt that we owe into the future. That's what this budget amendment is doing, because we don't budget for it as debt. Nobody does, they just do this amendment at the end of the year. So when I say material leases, that doesn't mean that we're doing this with a copy machine or a postage machine or small leases like that. It's the large leases like vehicles. So this is all the town's vehicles that we lease. And the reason the amount is so large is, as you know, this past year we doubled our police fleet in the amount of vehicles that we purchased or leased. So that's what this budget amendment is for.
Okay, any questions from the board?
Motion to approve budget amendment number 37 for $1,364,700.
Second? All in favor? Seeing none opposed, thank you, Drew. Item A is done. We'll move on to item B, consideration and approval of budget amendment number 2 in the amount of $660,000 under tab 11.
Okay, as you noticed, the budget amendment 37 is for last year's budget. Hopefully that's the final one we have for last year. This is budget amendment number 2 for the current fiscal year that we're in right now. This budget amendment, if you looked at it, it's allocating the ARPA funds that we used in this year's budget, transferring it from the ARPA project to the general fund to fund the things that were approved in the current budget.
Drew, I believe that during the final approval of the budget, you had a long list of items that was funded by the $660,000.
Yes, I had that list. It was included with the budget and at the budget workshop when that was approved before it was recommended.
Because this amount actually went to balance that budget.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't bring that list with you, but this was the amount that we decided to move. We're using some of the Parks and Rec ARPA funds center funds and the tennis pickleball court fund.
But this still leaves, some funding in
There
our.
is still some funding left.
Yes, that's the main thing. I want to make sure that there's still funding left.
Why wasn't this added into the budget?
I will have to go get that list if you need, or I can send it to you later. I don't have that.
Yeah, well, you can see it, I just wondered why we're doing it after the budget.
The budget was approved with this transfer in it.
Okay.
We didn't approve the transfer from the fund where the money is. This is the budget amendment moving the funds from the ARPA fund to the general fund budget that was approved.
And you didn't know that that was gonna be
I
that way?
couldn't do that until this year started.
Okay,
Because we approved the budget back in June, I can't move the funds until we get into the fiscal year where that's applied.
okay.
And he should have a list of the items that he went over during the budget workshop. All of us had a list of those items because we had to approve the budget with moving those ARPA funds to cover those items, to balance the budget. Any other comments from the board? Motion?
I make the motion that we approve budget amendment number 2 in the amount of $660,000.
Have a motion, have a second. All in favor? Seeing none approved. Budget amendment number 2 is approved. Moving on, item C, consideration and approval of budget amendment number 3 in the amount of $9,000 to cover associated costs. Funds to be allocated from the drug forfeiture account. That's under item 12.
Okay, if you have specific questions about this one, the chief can answer those, but this is the budget amendment to move $9,000 from drug forfeiture funds to the general fund budget to support community outreach by the police department.
I think that's pretty self-explanatory in the packet.
Motion to approve budget amendment number 3 in the amount of $9,000.
We have a motion, have a second. All in favor? Seeing none opposed, number 3 is approved. Thank you, Drew.
Thank you very much.
Back to Chancellor. Item D, mutual aid agreement between United States Army Garrison, Fort Bragg, and the town of Oak Mills Fire Department under tab 13.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm gonna pass this on to Deputy Fire Chief, Mr. Robert Holt.
All right, good evening. The mutual aid agreement that you have before you is an agreement that we have between us and the United States Army and Fort Bragg, which really just covers emergency response between Fort Bragg and Fort Bragg to us. This is just a renewal of the mutual aid agreement.
Been in place for years.
Yes, sir.
It's just a document to sign to keep it alive.
This is a renewal for the next 10 years.
Okay. Any discussion from the board?
Mayor, motion to approve mutual aid agreement between U.S. Army Garrison, Fort Bragg, and the town of Hope Mills Fire Department.
Second? All in favor? Seeing none opposed? Motion is approved. We've got a new 10-year mutual aid agreement. Item E, thank you, Deputy Chief. Item E, lease agreement and community programs agreement between the town of Hope Mills and the T.J. Robinson Life Center, and that's under tab 14.
Good evening again, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. You will recall, we've been in talks with the T.J. Robinson Center staff for a number of months now. So, we've taken our time and we got through the easy part where we talked about scheduling and the definite need that we have for the expanded space for our programs. And once we knew what the hours were, the needs were, then we kind of committed and simplified that down to what the cost would be. And in your pack you have 2 agreements. We actually broke it down into 2 agreements. The first agreement is for space. That's for the expanse of our programs: basketball, soccer, indoor soccer, volleyball, pickleball, etc. And what we came up with, you all have a schedule in the attachment of the draft of the agreement. Essentially, we come up with 142 hours throughout the course of a year, and at $70 an hour, There'll be times we get 2 courts for our programs, there'll be times we get 3. I went on ahead and said on average we'll do 3. And so what that equals it to, at $70 per hour for 3 courts is $30,000 per year. With that, we know there's going to be some increase in both rec leaders and gym supervisors that once we run programs or share programs at the TJ Robinson Center, we will need part-time staff to be over there to help run our programs. And so that cost will be $8,520. And so I know the question might be, well, where is the money going to come from? And if the trend keeps going the way it has been in the past, and we increase revenues, if the cost for the lease agreement is not a wash, it'll be almost a wash. It'll be very, very low. You have to come back and ask for it. Drew and I have had that conversation, and based on the trends in the last year with increased revenue, not just for athletics, but for programs, special events, and we've got an influx in the rentals, things of that nature. We think that essentially will be a wash as far as the rentals or the lease agreement. The second piece of this is what I call community programming. We've been in talks with Ms. Charlotte and TJ Robinson Center staff on how we can increase programming. And this will be an array of programs that we mutually agree to and come up with. It'll be fee-based. And essentially what we would do, Parks and Recreation would run the registration. We would team up with TJ Robinson Center to run community programs, and we would do a 50-50 split. Now, for that particular agreement, TJ Robinson Center pays $5,500 a month. But that particular agreement is going to be contingent upon established programming and the registration to be able to. So essentially, with the 50-50 split, part of the 50-50 split goes towards the spatial rental for the program. So that in that case is what we have, and we're asking that the board consider allowing the town manager to enter into those agreements, but still negotiate with any questions or terms you might want to add to the agreement. And I'll attempt to answer questions, or Ms. Charlotte, her staff is here to answer some questions as well.
Thank you, LaMarco. Charlotte, this has been a long time coming.
It's been a long time, yeah.
I want you to know that. We talked about this for months, and here we are, trying to do good for our community.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt in my mind, and you know this, and people in our community know, that there is a need for additional recreational space. And when we talk about collaboration and partnerships, you've got a beautiful building that can offer so much to our community, regardless of age. Regardless of gender, your doors are open to everyone. I know that because your heart is, which reflects your family. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to ask the board, did they have any questions?
I don't really have a question. I have a comment though. We just heard tonight from the strategic plan that we needed more, Parks and Rec, more space. And I feel like this is a good way to expand quickly, or, expand on the front end, until we can, acquire more space of our own. But, I'm prepared to make a motion, if nobody else has any other questions, I'll make a motion that we authorize the town manager to negotiate and execute a lease agreement with the TJ Robinson Life Center. Authorize town manager to negotiate and execute a community programs contract with TJ Robinson Life Center for an amount not to exceed $30,000 for the lease agreement and $5,500 monthly for established community programming. And to establish a budget for part-time salaries in the amount of $8,520.
We have a motion. We have a second. Is there any other discussion? Commissioner Prater?
One thing, and I saw you brought my big collar with you tonight. You senior citizens out there. How will it work if we have senior citizens up here that want to come and join it? Is there a charge for that? Can they come play bingo? And it doesn't cost anything?
Yes, ma'am. No, the senior program is, they normally pay about $15 a month, not to me, but to each other, and that is used for their supplies. So there is no cost, for the seniors to come out, and they don't just play bingo. These are boots on the ground ladies. So we go on trips. We're going to the winery. Should I say that? I mean, that was one of their suggestions. One of mine, because I don't drink. But we're going on trips. I took them to the mountains last year. We've been all over the place. And as you met a group of them, we came out there a couple of weeks ago. So it is definitely, thank you. It is definitely an opportunity. It's open to Hope Mills seniors. We would love for them to come out and join us. We're there every day, but Wednesday from 9 till 11. Yes, ma'am.
If I come out there in a few days, will you sit down and tell me everything you have so that we can get this worked up to get out to our seniors?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
All right, thank you. And I'm glad this is working out.
Thank you.
Any other comments? We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor? Seeing none opposed, the motion carries. Charlotte, calm down.
Oh.
I told you. Charlotte,
Yes, sir.
let's do good together.
Let's do good together.
Yeah.
Done.
Item F, consideration approval of proposed fire department fee schedule under tab 15.
Okay, this is a catch-up approval, for the new fee schedule for the fire department. Most of them are the, I guess, what do you call it, the fire inspection fees, those sorts of things, but it's the whole fee schedule for the fire department. It was not included in the newly approved budget and fee schedule, so we're having it approved now.
Okay, any comments from the board?
Motion to approve the fire department fee schedule.
Have a motion, we have a second? We have a motion, we have a second, all in favor? Seeing none opposed, motion carries. Next item, under G, removal of Connie Harden from the Homelessness Advisory Committee, no attachments. You want this one as the liaison?
Yes. Connie has missed more than the 3 meetings, and the reason she's missed, she is keeping her grandchildren right now, and she's not able to come. So we're going to remove her from the homelessness committee, and I make a motion that we do that.
There's a motion and a second. Does she know this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think she does she, or she will.
Wait a minute.
No, she does know this.
Okay.
This
all right.
wouldn't have been sent to her.
Okay. I don't like the she will part. I don't like that part.
Yes, she said that she doesn't have the time.
Okay, so, all right, so motion and second, all in favor? See none opposed. Okay. So moving on to the item H, nomination and appointment of Jody, is that Gossett, to the Homelessness Advisory Committee, that's under tab 16, you got that one?
Yes.
Okay.
Jody Gossick is coming on the homelessness committee to replace Connie. So I make a motion that we do accept her and appoint her to the homelessness committee.
She's eligible, right?
Yeah, she has down here too, but we don't have Veterans Administration anymore. And I don't know what other committee to manage to right now, so let's just put her on the homeless because she did apply for that position.
Okay, got a motion, I think we have a second. Okay, favor? Seeing none opposed, will you inform her that she's a member?
Yes.
Okay.
I think, Ashley does or Florence does. I'm gonna do it the next time.
Commissioner Kroll? Okay.
So my question was, because I had just a little bit of feedback, I don't know if this would have to be added later for discussion, but there were some concerns about members on committees or if they don't belong on the committee any longer, they're afraid to leave because they don't want to get, because we changed the way that if they quit a committee, they're not allowed to apply to multiple, other committees or stuff like that. So there was some, I don't know if it was a little bit of miscommunication, but there were some citizens who are afraid to leave committees that they didn't feel that they wanted to be a part of any longer. And just for clarifications, if they don't feel comfortable on a committee, they can go ahead and leave. They don't have to feel like that they're not going to have another opportunity to serve on another committee. Well, and so therein lies the issue is if they feel like they're not providing a service to the committee, what have you, they feel like they're kind of stuck in it because if they leave, they won't be able to join another commission. Does that make sense?
We can look at the language, because I think what I hear you saying is they have a desire to still serve.
Just not.
They don't wanna actually have to stay on a committee they're not useful on in the
Correct.
future. And so I have our town attorney and our town clerk look into the language. If that language exists, we can amend that at approval of the board. I don't think, you guys will have an issue because they're saying they still wanna serve, they just think that they'd be better served on another committee.
And if we can just have that, clarification at the next board meeting, because I hear that from a couple of people, and I'm like, I know it's not gonna be an issue.
Yes.
It better not be any of mine, but I'm just playing. But what I think is, we don't want people to keep getting removed off of committees for not showing up. So if people say, hey, I got a conflict right now, or, whatever, they can get off. But I think the issue was that people, not showing up and then signing up for another committee and not showing up again, and then I think that's what the issue was.
Dan, did you want to weigh in?
I was just gonna say, we'll take a look at that, but that certainly was not the intent of our last change. I think the intent was, as you said, if someone is consistently not showing up for the meetings, that we have the ability to remove them. But they certainly have the right to step down voluntarily, and that should not preclude them from future service. So we'll take a look.
Okay, well, that's a good point, because folks shouldn't be penalized. I mean, things happen, whether it's the lack of involvement in the committee, or maybe it's something in their personal life. I mean, but they should be penalized for stepping off the committee voluntarily, because all of our committees are voluntary. Okay, next item is 9.
Mayor, I'd like to call a closed session pursuant to NCGS 143-318-11A, farmland acquisition.
Okay, have a motion? Have a motion, have a second? All in favor? Okay, we're gonna go back into closed session for a little bit and hopefully return soon. session.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to move to seal the minutes of, hold on, let me get myself together. I would like to make a motion to seal the minutes of the closed session until such time as the release of the information will no longer frustrate the purpose of the closed session, further no action was taken.
Second.
Have a motion, we have a second, all in favor? Seeing none opposed, motion carries. Item 10 is informational items, monthly reports for the rest of the month. Item 11, staff comments? Looking around.
Just, tomorrow, 7 a.m.
No. Well, come up here and say it. Chief has a announcement to make.
He does.
As of 7 a.m. tomorrow, we'll be open, the building will be open 24/7.
It's been a long time coming.
Sure has.
7 o'clock tomorrow night.
No, tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning, open to 24/7.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
You will.
All right, I have a motion to adjourn. Second?
Second.
All in favor? We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
I don't feel like signing mine. My signature on
Is it not open?
I'm gonna try to call Jerry.
Netflix binge watching.
Time to go.